Hello there, welcome. Let's get right to it, shall we? When you're using auxiliary effects or send tracks, a lot of times it's very simple and straightforward. Maybe just a reverb plugin, maybe a delay, maybe some distortion. Other times it's a little bit more involved depending on what you're after. So in this video, I thought I would walk you through a effects delay chain I have set up for this track. I thought some of you, especially the beginners, might find this helpful and useful. So that's what we're going to do today. I'm going to give you a quick little preview of the sound. So that's the chord sound I showed you in the last video run through this delay send. So let's hop into the mixer. I'm on this track here. It's called Long Delay. It looks like there's a lot going on here and very complicated and involved, but it's actually quite simple. I'm going to walk you through each plugin, why I've chosen it, what it's doing, and yeah, and kind of my thought process behind it all. So the first plugin is UAD's EP34 Tape Echo, one of my favorite tape echo plugins ever. I love the sound. It sounds vintage. It sounds kind of dusty and warm, and I just love the sound. So that's first in the chain on a simple quarter note. I followed that with the stereo enhancer because by default the tape echo is a mono signal, so I just spread that out a little bit with the stereo enhancer by pulling the offset a little bit over to the left just to spread that sound out. And then I followed that with another delay plugin, so I just went with the Fruity Delay 3 here, and which is also a tape style delay, so I thought it would kind of fit the vibe that I was after. And I put this one on a different timing, so it's playing the eighth dotted rather than a quarter note on a ping pong mode. Pretty low feedback, not quite at 50. And I rolled off everything above that around the 3K mark just to kind of put it in its own little pocket, um, and only mixed in about 20%-ish there. Added some distortion, modulated the cutoff a little bit, as well as the timing of the delay, just to give it a little bit of movement. And so yeah, that is what's happening there. And then I followed that with the driver from Native Instruments, which I just kicked up the resonance here, and it just gives a nice kind of crusty, rough, slightly rough edge to the sound, which really helps it cut through the mix and really just find a nice place within the mix. And you can see here that the resonance is slightly going up and down, and I have that controlled with this driver reso is what I called it, just a LFO. Really simple. Again, just to give a little bit of variance on the distortion amount, is it's going to help it, I don't know, add a little depth to the sound. And then after the driver plugin, I added this Pancake auto panning plugin, mixed in about 35%. And on sounds like this, effect sounds, maybe even like reverb, delay, I like to use weird timing, so not your typical 1 bar, 2 bar, or even 4 bar. I just went for 3 bars, a slight auto panning effect just to give it some movement. Especially on longer kind of spacey sounds like this, a nice slow pan can really sound quite nice. So that's what's happening there. Next is the EQ. Rolled off all the low end, just want to keep it tidy, put this effect kind of in its own little pocket. There were some nasty frequencies here around 470, so I just dipped those right out. Add a little boost in the 2K range, kind of gives it a nice airy presence. and then rolled off the top. Again, I want room for my hi-hats and whatnot up here. And this is being automated in certain parts of the track, just to close the filter and open it back up on the sound, which I highly recommend doing. Um, and then this was an afterthought here, but I threw on a little alter board just to see what it would sound like pitched up, and I didn't really like it. I pitched it up seven semitones, excuse me, and then mixed it all the way in, but I didn't like it 100% wet, so I pulled down the mix to around, I don't know, the 20% mark or so, and I really liked it, so I left it, just added a little something special um, to the delay, and so I left that there, and then I did the same thing with this one, the drive. I just gave it a slow LFO at a different rate than this one. So they're kind of, those two drives, distortions are kind of moving in and out with each other and just adding that little extra layer of texture and depth to the sound. And then I followed that with just a basic side chain just to help it kind of pump with the track and the kick, mixed in around 20%. And that's it. That was kind of my thought process here. Um, don't be afraid to stack up as many effects as you want. I don't always do this. In fact, most of the time I don't, fill up a whole slot like this with plugins on my auxiliary tracks, but in this case I did, and I thought I would just walk you through it. So hopefully that was useful for you. Yeah, that's it for today. Little side note, if you want feedback on your track, links in the description. If you want to submit your track to my Spotify playlist, in the description as well. I'll catch you soon, everyone. Take care.